Some songs fade away. These never did. The 1960s gave us riffs, voices, and stories that still hit like they happened yesterday. So today we're counting down 10 songs that made 1966 absolutely unforgettable. And trust me, number 1 almost never happened. Number 10. The Monkees' I'm a Believer. The Monkees were created for television, not for the charts. Producers Bob Rafelson and Bert Schneider assembled 4 young actors to play a fictional rock group. Nobody expected real music. Then Neil Diamond walked in. He had written a song inspired by a girl who broke his heart and handed the demo to They recorded it with Mickey Dolenz on lead vocal, giving the song its innocent rush. The song reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and stayed there for 7 weeks. I'm a Believer became one of the biggest hits of the late 1960s and turned the Monkees into pop stars nobody saw coming. Born from a television experiment and heartbreak, it still feels so alive today. That groove still makes people sing, while the lyrics remind us that love can blind us and save us. The Rolling Stones' Painted Black.
I see a red door and I want it painted black.
Released in May 1966, Paint It Black still sounds like a door slamming shut. The Rolling Stones turned darkness into a hit single. Written by Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, it went through several versions before finding its final shape. Even the title changed. The comma appeared on the single, though the band did not intend it. The sitar became the secret weapon. Brian Jones was fascinated by the instrument after the Beatles used it on Norwegian Wood, and his part gave the track its haunted edge. Andrew Loog Oldham's production pushed the shadows forward, while the rhythm section made it feel like marching toward disaster. Paint It Black reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became one of the Stones' darkest classics. It still sounds like a funeral and a riot at once. Number 8. The Mamas and the Papas, California Dreamin'. John Phillips wrote California Dreamin' after a cold New York winter made the West Coast feel like paradise. The melody came first, and Michelle Phillips helped shape the words from the feeling of wanting to escape. Then the Mamas and the Papas turned that homesick dream into harmony. Cass Elliott's voice floated underneath, heavy and warm, the secret weapon that gave the record its soul. The harmonies were so tight they sounded like one person singing through 4 throats. Released in late 1965 and rising in 1966, the song became an anthem for anyone who wanted to leave the cold behind. And its effect has not faded. The first seconds still make you feel that urge to run away. If these songs took you 6 decades back, like and subscribe so we can relive this music together. Let's go on. Number 7. Simon & Garfunkel, The Sound of Silence. Paul Simon was still in his early 20s, sitting alone in his bathroom with the lights off. The tile walls gave the best echo. He would strum in the dark, turning silence and insomnia into something sacred. That darkness became the sound of silence. The acoustic version barely sold. Simon & Garfunkel split apart. Paul went to England, and Art returned to school. Then producer Tom Wilson changed everything. Without telling them, he took the original recording and added electric guitar, bass, and drums. Suddenly, the song sounded like Private Loneliness exploding into the whole country. It reached number 1, and the success brought the duo back together. 6 decades later, it still feels like an invitation to sit in the dark and listen to the parts of yourself you usually avoid. Number 6. The Troggs' Wild Thing. 3 notes on a harmonica. That is all it took. Reg Presley sat down in a small London studio and blew into a cheap harmonica. The band was supposed to be polishing a cover. Instead, they stumbled into something primal.
Wild thing. You make my heart sing.
They recorded it in one session and released it that same week. No time to overthink, no time to ruin it. The song reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Wild Thing became the Troggs' only major hit and proved that a great song does not need perfection. It needs nerve.
But I wanna know for sure. Come on.
This hit, born from a studio accident and built around a riff so simple a child could play it, has already turned 60. Yet it still feels more relevant than ever. Reg Presley's raw voice and that stomping groove still invite us to move, while the lyrics remind us that desire is always wilder than we plan.
Come on, wild thing.
Number 5. The Beach Boys, Good Vibrations. Brian Wilson was chasing a sound he could only hear in his head. He had fragments, a theremin, a cello, a bass line that walked in circles. He pieced them together across 6 different studios using 17 musicians, never hearing the complete song until the final mix. His bandmates thought he had lost his mind. The record label thought he had lost his money. The song reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Good Vibrations became the most expensive single ever recorded at that point and turned Brian Wilson's obsession into a pocket symphony. This hit, born from a man who heard music nobody else could hear, has already turned 60, yet it still feels more relevant than ever. That theremin and those layered harmonies still send chills down the spine, while the lyrics remind us that feeling is always deeper than understanding. Number 4. The Beatles, Paperback Writer. His aunt asked him a simple question. Why do the Beatles only write songs about love? Paul laughed. Then he sat down and wrote a story about a man who wants to be a novelist. John Lennon heard it and added the sharp harmonies. George Harrison found the guitar tone that cut through everything. Ringo kept the beat simple because the song was already moving too fast. The song reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Paperback Writer became the first Beatles single to feature a promotional film, the ancestor of the music video, and proved that a great story is a great story no matter who is telling it. This hit, born from a family dinner and built around a character who never existed, has already turned 60. Yet it still feels more relevant than ever. Paul's rough bass line and those irresistible melodic hooks still invite us to listen, while the lyrics remind us that ambition is always louder than rejection. 3. The Hollies, Bus Stop. Graham Gouldman was 19 years old, watching rain fall outside a window. He saw a boy and a girl sharing an umbrella at a bus stop. By the time the rain stopped, he had a song. The Hollies heard it and knew immediately. The harmonies were so tight they sounded machined. Tony Hicks's guitar danced around the melody like it had nowhere else to be. The song reached #5 on the Billboard Hot 100. Bus Stop made the Hollies stars in America and proved that a simple moment can become an eternal romance. This hit, born from a rainy afternoon and built around an umbrella. Alan Clark's unforgettable voice and that unmistakably 60s guitar sound still feel fresh, as if time had never passed. Number 2. The Kinks, Sunny Afternoon.
All I've got's this sunny afternoon.
Ray Davies was broke. The tax man had taken everything. So he sat in the sun and wrote a song about being broke in the sun. The irony was not lost on him. The laziness was deliberate. Dave Davies found the guitar tone that sounded like a sneer. The piano stumbled in like a drunk at a music hall. The bass line did not walk, it lay down. The song reached #1 in the UK. Sunny Afternoon became the sound of British irony and proved that complaining can be beautiful if you do it with enough style. Ray Davies' dry voice and that lazy bass line still invite us to smile, while the lyrics remind us that doing nothing is sometimes the most rebellious act of all. Now tell me, where were you when you first heard these musical gems? Write it in the comments. We read everyone. Number 1. The Lovin' Spoonful, Do You Believe in Magic? John Sebastian saw a girl dancing near the stage at a Greenwich Village club. She was maybe 16. She moved like the music was telling her secrets nobody else could hear. He wanted to capture that feeling, not the girl, the feeling. He blended blues and folk with a jug band energy that sounded too happy for the serious times. The band did not know if audiences would accept it. They recorded the song in a single session in New York. The jug band sound was improvised as filler, with the idea that final arrangements would be written later. Those arrangements never changed. The song reached #9 on the Billboard Hot 100. Do You Believe in Magic became the anthem of a summer that had not been named yet, and proved that joy does not need permission. This hit, born from a dancing girl and built around a creative accident, has already turned 60. Yet it still feels more relevant than ever. John Sebastian's warm voice and that jug band energy still invite us to believe, while the lyrics remind us that magic is real if you are young enough to feel it. These gems from 1966 show us that time only makes great music even greater. And the most incredible thing is that there are even older songs turning half a century old and still sounding just as powerful.